Good day.
I'm Ben. This video shows you how to build a form on a website using the two WordPress plugins Contact Form 7 and JSON Content Importer, which sends the entered data to an API upon submission. The video focuses on the paid version of the JCI plugin, which offers maximum flexibility. In the show notes, there is a link that describes how to achieve similar results with the free version of JCI. Here you see a completely normal form as it is seen on many websites. The special thing about it, the current date is always inserted, and when you submit the form, an API is contacted via an interface through which the inputs can be processed. This video shows you how you can easily put it together with WordPress and the plugins JCI Pro and Contact Form 7. Here you see how the form was built with the plugin Contact Form 7. You define the two input fields as well as a button for submission, but there's something more to it in detail. In the form template, you can integrate so-called Twig code, which will later be used by the JCI Pro plugin. This way, you can either use data from a JSON loaded in the background, utilize browser inputs, and for example, decide what to display with if statements. Let's take a closer look at the form. Okay, admittedly, it looks complicated. But upon closer examination and reading from left to right, it becomes clear. Here, the template language Twig is used, which contains placeholders that will be filled by JSON data or user data. CDate is the name of the input field. URL_param.cdate is the value entered by the user in the browser. So if the user enters something in the CDate field and submits the form, the entered value will appear here. A datetime is the placeholder for a field with the same name in a JSON feed that is loaded in the background. We'll get to that in a moment. This way, you can put together a form that can load user data and API JSON data. Now let's add the user action. The user enters something in the form and clicks on Submit Form, which means Send Data. I am now filling out the form and submitting it. What happens in the background when the form is submitted? It depends on what you have set in the additional settings of the Contact Form 7 form. There, on one hand, you can set skip_mail to on, indicating that no email will be sent when the form is submitted. And you can use the parameter JCI name of template to specify how the data entered by the user should be further processed in the background. Let's take a closer look at the JCI template defined in the additional settings of the Contact Form 7 form. It starts with a Twig template, which we only need here for testing purposes. What's important is what's in the URL of template field. There, I enter the URL of the API to which the data will be sent. Here in the example, I append the data as getParameters at the end. For example, CDate will contain the user input for the date. For the tech-savvy among us, the data is automatically URL encoded so that it is correctly transmitted in the URL. Further down, it states in the method that the API should be contacted via POST. This allows for larger amounts of data to be sent as payload. This is specified in curl options. curlopt_http_header tells the target API that JSON data is being sent. curlopt_post fields assembles a dataset that is sent as JSON. Here too, the placeholders are replaced by the user data. The JCI plugin ensures with this template that the data is sent to the API. How can I determine if this has really worked? On doc.json-content-importer.com, it is demonstrated how to verify this. Simply search for Contact Form 7 there. There, it's described how to verify if sending to the API works. One way is by using the API and checking if the data actually arrives there. If you don't have an API at hand, there's a short PHP script on the page that can be used as a test API. Additionally, or alternatively, for testing purposes, you can choose WordPress settings so that the JCI plugin writes protocol data to a log file. On this page as well, it's demonstrated how one can achieve almost similar results with the free JCI plugin. Here, The free JCI block is also utilized.